media track was well filled. Now we're going to talk to Sorosh, who I've been told runs the fastest growing startup in Sweden over the past few years. I don't know how you'd measure that, but let's assume it's true. Because what it's going to talk about is how do you stay entrepreneurial as you're growing. I mean, you start out in this wild, freebase, freak mindset. You're different, you're new, you're young, you're hip. Then you grow. What happens and how do you stick to being young at heart as an organization? So, please, give a warm round of applause to Sorosh Tavakoli. But there you are. Now, I'm just going to quickly take my question computer right here and move to my little fruit spot. We're very honored to hear you, but this thing
is on actually, but
and now we can hear you.
Yeah, now you can hear me. Okay.
Thank you.
So actually, the first time I was on stage having a mic like this, it was upside down, and nobody told me for the whole talk. So I think I've double checked it's the right way. So it was the other way around. Anyway, so what is quite funny about this is that I don't have a clue how you do this, because we're sort of in the middle of it. But when Marie asked me, I said, well, yeah, this is something I should be on top of. So let's have a think and have some theories around how you can do this. And it's very much happening in our company now as we go from, just last year we were around 12, 14 people. Now we're almost 30, and that's been it's been very, very painful in many ways. And I can imagine it becoming more painful moving forward. So just want to give you a quick background of our company and why we exist. This sums it up quite well. So there's a big shift happening in the way we consume video. So we're going from the old TV that people watch more than 3 hours a day in pretty much any country in the world. We're going from that to the new TV, which is IP delivered, it's on demand, it's the whole promise of what you want to see, where and how you want to see it, at what time, etc. And the new TV will be quite different from the old TV, especially in the way it's monetized. And we're building the advertising platform that helps media companies to monetize the new TV. And our vision is to be a global leader in ad serving for the new TV. That's what we do. We've got some 40 plus clients now in 15 countries. The company was started here in Stockholm 3 years ago by myself and 2 other co-founders. Yeah, maybe that's enough. And we target the big media companies and help them to make the most out of their online videos today, but even more and more the new platforms such as iPhone, iPad, and connected TVs, etc. And so coming back to the topic, our clients are big companies, and what they buy from us is proper infrastructure where all their advertising in and around the new TV runs. And if that fails, they will not be able to make money. So if our system is down, there will be no ads on TV4 Play. There will be no ads, on M6 in France. You will not get it. So they will lose a lot of money. And that's why we internally, we don't mention the S word. Our clients can't in any way see us as a startup. If we're a startup, then it's a big risk. And I'm going to tell you why, So startup, what it means in many ways, it's to some degree, it's a naive technology-focused company. Oh, we can do this. It's so fun. Check my new cool demo. That's one thing you can get. And also it means, quite inexperienced. You're just starting up. You don't know so much about this. And when you don't have the experience, obviously that's when you do mistakes, right? That's when things don't work. You might not get the best service, or things might break apart. That's not what you want. right? And also, you're financially and technically insecure. So your technology might break down, your company might go bankrupt. How much money do you have in the bank? It's not fun to be on the buyer side and say, hey, I've just signed up with this cool startup, really good. Sorosh is a good guy, and we're gonna run all of our ads with them. And after a couple of months, the system breaks or the company dies, you're gonna be fired. Very simple. And I know actually a guy who got fired, picked the wrong system, didn't work. And that's also something actually maybe standing in the way of innovation is people, especially in big companies, don't dare buying from startups or dare buying from smaller companies. So they go and buy from IBM. You will never be fired, if you've done business with IBM. That's a saying that's quite true. So this was my first reaction when I was building this presentation. I thought, well, there's actually more to this. Obviously, it's not just bad being a startup. So I started to think about all the good things about being a startup, right? This is what you want to be. This is the magic stuff. So, you're quick and adaptable. Yeah, I want to be that. I want a company to be quick. I want us to be able to quickly adapt to new situations. I want us to be innovative. I want us to be flexible. Not say, well, this is our policy and, there's no way we can do this or that. I think passionate is a word we've heard many times today. Very important. That's the core of everything. If you're not passionate, you have to leave, and that's quite important. And I don't know. That's your golden. That's the trick you have. I'll go through all these actually before, and also sort of the sense of being a family. You don't go to work. You just sort of go home almost. You go home and you care a lot. You care a lot more than a 9 to 5. You take responsibility. People come in and work Saturdays. They work Sundays. You don't need to ask them. It's like, hey, it's family. We care about this thing, and you have that in a startup. You don't have that at a larger company usually, and it's exciting. Even for clients working with us, it's a lot more exciting than working for a big giant. Someone just there because they got a good offer. It's a lot more work. It's exciting working for a startup. People are motivated, and also you want to be cheap, right? You want to be able to do more with less, and that's what we do. That's what I start. Every time I negotiate, I pick up the phone. I say, you know what? We're a startup. I want a special deal because that's what we get, and usually I get it. And you sort of get away with that when you are a startup, and you need also brave people. Because it's really scary being a startup, especially when it goes this fast. You want brave people in your company. So sort of like these things are why you want to stay entrepreneurial or want to remain startup. So these are the things you want. You don't want the other stuff, right? The insecurity and inexperience, etc. So I thought about, how do you make sure you keep these things in your company, and came up with 3 advice. 3 is the magic number, as we know. So mind the box is the first one. Everybody want to think outside the box, right? And I think it's important not to get into the box from the first, So we're an ad serving company, but we don't really want to step in to the ad serving box and say, we're an ad server, we work exactly as all the other ad servers, and we hire people from the ad serving industry, and because that kills innovation, and that kills sort of a lot of the things on the other slide. So I think it's important to dare to think new and actually hire people from other industries and sort of be a bit, then people need to be entrepreneurial. We need to figure things out, and we will actually do them in different ways, in a way that makes sense for us. And then we might have people who actually come from the box, but and then in the end, at least everybody are not from the box. And then just understanding that culture is everything. I think this is all those things on that slide sort of come from culture. You can't tell anyone to be brave. You can't tell anyone to be passionate. It's like the invisible hand, right? When it's there, it's just there. Everybody just feels it, and that comes from culture. And when that lacks, people are not smiling. So that's a good way of measurement, actually. Speaking of that, when people are smiling at the office, it's a very good sign. And you need to invest in people. You need to take the time, because obviously we're all very, very busy, but you need to take time. You need to sit down with people. You need to listen to them. We've got some people here from the company. I hope they're not like, oh my God, he's full of crap. But I mean, that's what you try to do, right? Every now and then you have to like, okay, we're now doing this big change. You need to sit down, listen to people, make sure they're happy, you understand them, etc. And also you need to realize how important you are, at least as a CEO of a company and as a founder, or everybody in the company actually. We're all people look at each other. What is he doing? What is he saying? How is he behaving? Oh, did he fly with Ryanair? Oh, that's quite cool. Oh, but today he flew, British Airways. Ah, okay, so it's cool to actually, when you're in a hurry or it's important, you can go with the one airline, and sometimes you go cheap, and how's he dressing? How's he speaking? Does he care about people? Or all these things just come from, and that's something I've realized just last year. People actually, it's quite important how you behave, and that sort of is contagious in the company. And finally, you need to enable entrepreneurialism. That was a fun word to say on stage. So you need to hire the right people, and this comes back again to the box thing. It's very simple for us to go like, we're an ad serving company. You go to the biggest company, you hire the most senior person. Your investors will be very happy, and the press will say, Videoplaza hired this person. But in the end, it's not really who you want, because you want the entrepreneurs. Maybe not entrepreneurs, I don't know, entrepreneurs. You don't want them to be too crazy, but for example, we hired someone to do the UK, right? The first guy on the ground, he had some help from me. You can't go hire someone who worked for for a very big company. In this case, from Google. I actually had a candidate from that company. He wouldn't have a clue how to do this. First guy on the ground. Nobody knows about this Videoplaza company. He's supposed to do everything. He's supposed to figure things out. The market will be different from the other markets the company's in. So you need to sort of find, and we actually found the right guy, and he's not the most senior. He doesn't have the best CV, but he's really hard-working guy, and we've had some tough times in the UK now. We've been there for 1 year and still haven't really sort of made it through, and he's still there. He's still fighting, while the other guy, I know if we would hire him, he would have left long time ago. This doesn't work. I'm not making money. Next job. So I think this is also important to think about when hiring. And then when you have the right people, you need to give them freedom, at least some freedom, right? You need to say within this space you can be free, and then let them, if they've got good ideas, obviously let them execute on that. That's very important. And then this is something I think we're quite good at actually at our company, sort of encouraging almost people to question. It's like it's up to you to know how you contribute to the vision. And if you don't understand why you're here, or if the vision or strategy doesn't make sense to you, you have to question it. It's your responsibility to know why you're here and why you wake up every morning and go to work. And if you think that the plan we have doesn't make sense, you need to tell someone. And obviously if that, someone needs to be convinced of the other person, right? So either you become convinced that, well, yeah, actually the plan does work. I do believe in the vision, or you just, hopefully you convince your manager or me that, well, you know what, we actually need a new strategy. We need to change our minds here. I think we've been really good at that. We had actually one of our interns at our strategy day. It was just like, I think all this is bullshit, da 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 da. It was so cool. It's like, oh wow, great. So this is why it's not, and da da. So that he had the guts to actually do that, I think was a good sign. So I don't have a clue how I'm on time. 1 minute, perfect. So coming to my last slide, it's all very, very simple, but it's damn hard to get it right. So I've got the slides, let's see how it works. But generally, all these things are very, very simple to get the recipe, but then you actually need to make it work as well. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sorosh. Come.
Thank
Thanks. I mean, the focus here today, I mean, it's behind your presentation is a word saying entrepreneurship is the good side, right? Is that true?
If entrepreneurship is the good
I
side
mean,
of
I know many people who have suffered tremendously by working for entrepreneurs. Or to put it in a famous Swedish medical entrepreneurial company, the further away you were from the founder, the more clear idea you had about what was going on, and the better you felt.
oh wow.
So, I mean,
God, I
that's
hope
just one
that's
of
not
many
yeah.
issues with an entrepreneurialist company.
I think a founder and an entrepreneur is sort of a weird person generally. I mean, you have to be a bit, at least if you're going to succeed, you have to be, very extreme, right?
Right.
The amount of time you spend working,
It's your
the
life, it's
risks
your
you
baby.
take.
It's
Yeah,
your,
I mean, that's quite weird, and I'm sort of aware of that. You have to be
So, so what if, instead of staying entrepreneurial, what if the title of this could have been enjoying growing up, enjoying becoming an adult, something like that? Wouldn't that
yeah,
be?
because I really wanted to get something else in here, which is about like you have to also, in the end, you're building a company, you're building a corporate. You have you have to have structures. You have to have policies. We have we have a travel policy nowadays.
How
Which
many
is
people
like
work for you again? You mentioned it.
like 30 people now.
30. So you're still very, very small in the bigger scope
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah,
You're larger
definitely.
than my company,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're still
I mean,
pretty
for
small.
us, for going from everybody just doing what makes sense to like, oh, now everybody's that had their phones for 2 years. So what's our policy on getting a new phone? I mean, you sort of need that as well, but even more obviously on a client base, right? Oh, we've got 40 clients now, and you need to start becoming structured and becoming corporate, and that's a part of growing up, right? The company
But
grows
can
up,
you? Because
matures.
I know in a big issue now for Google is that thousands are leaving them. Because they've become partially. First, many left them because they were too free form, unstructured. Now many are leaving them because it's becoming too something else. And they might in 10 years just be perceived as being yet another company, pretty good, pretty bad, making some money, and so on. So is it? And it sounded a little bit of your presentation sounded like staying young forever, elixir. The secrets of eternal youth. Is it a mirage? Can we really have that?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if you can have that forever, right? I mean, at one point, people will want to do other things. It's just natural, I think. But I think, yeah, I'm quite worried. I mean, I don't really understand big companies. I don't
but
understand how
but
people
last year,
stay around and how they can continue to prosper in a way
right?
because they sort of lack a lot of these things, I
Right.
think, some of them. But
Because the issue we have right now, I find in at least Sweden, is that we have many good ideas, many good entrepreneurs. They build a company to maybe even 100 plus employees and so on. Then they do these dreaded words, the exit. So instead of having become the H&M and so on, they fall behind. They got gobbled up and so on. What's your dream with this company?
I mean, yeah, so there's obviously, you've got your investors, right? You've promised them the exit
Yeah.
somehow, which is what you need to, if you're building a company like this, you can't just go in and say, oh, I want to work with this, 20 years, and I want to, have a good salary, which is the profit of the company, etc. But obviously you can exit in different ways. You can do the IPO, which is the big, which is actually taking it even bigger, or you can do a trade sell. For me, I don't think about that, to be honest. Really not. I'm really just trying to build a good company, have happy clients.
But do you have a
good
25-year perspective yourself? On
I
Video
can't
Plaza?
have. Believe me. I mean, every 3 months, everything change in
You have
our
a 3 month
company.
perspective.
Yeah,
Okay.
mainly, and then obviously you have a a 3-5 year perspective as well. But right now it's just taking it all the way and becoming one of the global leaders in our space. That's what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll see whether this cure worked, and we'll see if you will have you or one of your employees back. Thanks so
Exactly.
much.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a look at the artwork, shall we? The book, the
Thank you.
art. Here we see, oh, growing big. Look at that. Staying on. Oh, Sorosh, here's your.
All right.
You have to have your drawing.
Cool. Thank you.
Fantastic.